Let's bring you this conversation now. The Educor group, which runs higher education institutions like Damelin and City Varsity, is fully registered again. Government deregistered it last year for failing to fulfill regulations. Let's talk now to the Higher Education Department's Director General, Dr. Nkosinathi Sishi, who joins us from Johannesburg this evening. Dr. Sishi, good evening to you, and thank you for your time. Let's start with whether or not, indeed, what Educor is saying is factual, that the institutions that were deregistered last year have since been fully re-registered.
Good evening, Kauli. Thank you for having us here this evening. A very good evening to your listeners. Absolutely correct. The Educor group, and you will recall that Educor group consists of a very big campuses, including the ISSA City campus, the City Varsity, Lyceum, and Damelin. These are institutions that are embedded in all of our provinces throughout the country, with more than 50,000 students.
So, apologies, I thought you had concluded your thought. Let's then take viewers back memory lane. What were the reasons that led to them being deregistered in the first place?
The private higher education institutions are governed in this regard and registered according to Section 54(1)(c) of the Higher Education Act. And there are also regulations, Regulation 14A of private higher education institutions of 2016, that prescribes the issues of compliance to legislation. And in this regard, at some point, the group could not fulfill some of the requirements that has to do with the submission of financial statements. And they were then, according to the regulations, we published a gazette noticing them of our intention to deregister them, which eventually materialized as the events unfolded. We then deregistered them. During the period of deregistration, a lot of students suffered. Lecturers were facing, retrenchments, and it just disrupted the post-school education and training system. But it had to be done. And I am happy today to say that since then, the institution has complied with our regulations. We did not just register them or re-register them. We started with a provisional registration just to satisfy ourselves that they are moving towards full compliance in all of their institutions. And so for 6 months, for the last 6 months, they've been registered provisionally. We have now changed that status to full registration status, and they are fully in our register. And we congratulate them. And we also would like to clarify that this deregistration had only to do with non-compliance when it comes to administrative-related matters, but not about the quality of education offered by these institutions. And so it was very important for us that when this matter was tabled to our Minister Nkabane, Dr. Nkabane applied a mind after this matter was taken on appeal, and agreed that firstly, on humanitarian grounds, they would be re-registered provisionally, so that the many students that were affected would now begin to receive their services. But I need to just add that if you look at the the numbers of young people that exited basic education last year, you can actually see that the system can hardly afford to have any of such institutions not in full compliance and in registration because of how important they are and how big they are.
Yeah.
And it's important for us that we have reached this point today. And there's many people who are involved, our officials and their management. They've cooperated and they worked with us up to a point where we are now happy to inform the public that their institutions are fully registered.
Very quickly with this last point, Dr. Sishi, if they are indeed fully compliant, have the students received their certificates, those that would have graduated presumably, and the lecturers, have they been paid and their payments backdated? Because there are those who are saying they are not being paid. So if they are compliant, have those conditions been met?
Thank you for that question. I think you will recall that these are private higher education institutions, and therefore they are, the issues of employment are managed not by the Department of Higher Education, but by the Department of Employment and Labor. But I can assure you that the Department of Employment and Labor have been noticed, and therefore they would be working with these institutions to make sure that teachers are not disadvantaged for matters that are unrelated to their non-compliance as educators.
All right. What about the students? I need to get that response from you. There were students who were not sure what is going to happen now, whether they're going to get their qualifications or is this a dead end for them?
No, absolutely. In fact, when we took this decision, we had a rider that suggested that students must not be affected. And so we managed to open our own offices in the department for them to receive their results, even though they could not receive statements. But now that the institution is fully registered, they can access directly their qualifications through the institutions in all of their branches.
All right.
And we are happy to confirm this. But I will also have to add that there would be a category of students who may not have qualified for reasons that relates to exam-related administrative issues, like supplementary issues that would receive their results after they've worked with the institutions to get their qualifications issued according to the regulations on the administration of examinations.
Dr. Nkosinathi Sishi, let me thank you very much for your time this evening, the Director General at the Higher Education Department.